I believe we're live now, and I normally do not make this type of content. In fact, me making this content, for me personally, is very highly hypocritical. But I am going to, and the reason why I say that's highly hypocritical of me is because I'm telling my kids all the time to mind their own business. And this video is anything but minding my own business. And this is mostly because I I watch a lot of YouTube. Watch a lot of other content creators to find out what they're doing. What I can do different as a creator myself. And one of the things that I've been seeing a lot, is this big debate about quantum TV, where people don't even want to say the full name, just out of fear of DMCA strikes, takedowns, and all that other stuff. Now, does the community have a part to blame in that? I don't know. Personally, I don't know, but I think it's safer to say, yes, it kind of is. And that actually can be said just because of this guy right here, MatPat. This exact video that I have here of the FNAF ARG hunt, to stop it, because the community itself caused the problem because there was no rules set in place. Now, the main start of this issue, from what I've seen, has been because of, well, this is the original video as a re-upload from a different content creator. But we're going to go over this one because this is where it all started. And I believe this video is roughly about, the re-upload's a month old. The main video itself is probably about 4 months old.
Today I'll be...
That's a bit loud. But yeah, the video, they're saying the video's edited to avoid copyright abuse. And I'm also going to play his newest video that he just put out today as well, because that had a lot to it.
giving you guys a review of Elden Ring. Essentially, I don't buy this game.
Now, he says a review, but the very first thing he does is he starts up with a straight up opinion. Right here, I can't really call this a review at this point. This is just straight up opinion. Let's go on.
The name of the game should not be called Elden Ring. The name of the game should be called You Die.
Now, keep in mind, Elden Ring is a Dark Souls game. Understanding the genre of the game is a key fact that I believe this guy missed. Absolutely missed. Dark Souls is meant to be that old school arcade style. And by old school arcade style, I mean you're popping quarters. They're specifically made to be challenging. They have the tank-like controls to add the difficulty. So you have to think out your moves to get things ahead. So you are going to die to find out the right answer. The wrong answer, you die. The right answer, you win. So Dark Souls, it's meant to be a you die game. The people that go after Dark Souls type games, like Elden Ring here, they expect this. The people getting into the game, they expect this. This has been since the very first Dark Souls. Let's go on.
Again and again and Because that's all you're really going to spend most of your time doing. You're going to die because the game has no easy difficulty. The difficulty spikes when you get to certain bosses. It's so unfair that you'll find yourself spending so many hours.
All right. Once again, like I was saying, it's meant for you to die. The wrong answer is going to make you die. This is not a God game. This is a despair game. The game is meant to bring you into disparity. That's why the world is the way it is. The world itself is not like Warframe. Warframe, it has some spunk. It has some pizzazz. It's fluid. It's motion. There's high action in it. Dark Souls is not that. Dark Souls is cold. Dark Souls is calculating. He misses this point. And I think this is where a lot of the other people that did a review for this guy, I can agree with them on. He misses the point of the genre of the game. And I am pausing it specifically just to elaborate on basically not to get into copyright infringement and stuff like that. So yeah, still images are kind of there. And it's kind of like trying to get you guys to have more of the point on this.
Losing time away from your life. So I would say this game is for somebody who really is looking for a sandbox. They have.
Now keep in mind, most Dark Souls games are not very sandboxish. Granted, they're not streamlined either. They do have branching pathways that give you an option of whether you want to go over here first or go over there second. This is actually the case when it came to Bloodborne, which is another Souls-like game. It's not a Metroidvania Souls-like, but it's still Souls-like. But you could pick which branch you wanted to move on first. This is what Elden Rings does. I would also like to put it out there, I have yet to even play Elden Ring myself, though I do have a lot of friends that have played it. I'm not getting into the reason why I haven't played it yet, though I would love to have a copy of the game. Because I've played Bloodborne, I've played the Dark Souls. It's a good game. I like it. I like how hard it is. Though, granted, the more you play it, the easier it gets because the more skills you develop as a player. You start thinking the way that you should think in the eyes of the game holder. Now, if you think I'm wrong with this guy of not having the genre down pat in his head when making this video, I would love to see him do a review on it was one of the first games that came out on Switch. It was a game where you played a snake. And they challenged people to think like a snake. Actually, Snake Pass. There we go. Snake Pass. I would love to see him do a playthrough of Snake Pass. This is a game where if you are not thinking in the category of the game, where you're not taking the game mechanics into the situation the game puts you, you're not going to do good with that game. Snake Pass was challenging because you have to think in a way that you normally don't think. And it really took an open-minded person to really get Snake Pass. That's how Elden Ring is. If you're not in the state of mind for it, you're not going to like it. If you think in that way, the game is easy. It's punishing because if you do the wrong thing, you're going to get punished. Now, talking about being punished, what he's about to get into, this is where I think all the backlash came from. These next few sayings that he's going to do.
Have no family, no friends, no life.
You are maidenless.
When you die, you lose everything you collected.
All of that right there, he wants to talk about hate speech. He's basically calling out an entire franchise fan base. Now, I have not been watching this very carefully. This is the original video of the root of the problem. So I do not know if there was any apology videos or anything like that, where he came out and said, okay, I'm sorry, I was wrong to say this exact line. Now, granted, there are genres that are not meant for everyone, but for me, gaming as a whole is for everyone. Does everyone like it? No. I accept that. Because you don't have to like what everyone else likes. They make basketball games. I don't like them. Are they designed for everyone? No, they're not. It's impossible to design a game that covers for everyone. And you'll see why I'm saying that in a moment.
Everything. That means you start over, so leveling up is extremely hard because of the nature of the game and its difficulty level, and it's not fun. There's nothing.
Now, with Elden Rings, I'm pretty sure the level up system is pretty much with your gear base. That the better your gear is, the more you're able to do and the easier things are. That's how all Dark Souls games have been. There is no true level. You cannot grind out a level. If your gear is not ready, you're not ready. Maybe you need to get a drop off of something. Maybe you need to have a little bit of luck to get something that is a little bit ahead of time.
Fun about this game for somebody who is new to the franchise. And then you look at the graphic style. It's a joke. It is literally a joke.
For me, I'm a diehard Nintendo person. Graphics mean very little to me. If you want a game that is like, oh, we're super hardcore graphics, high HD, you can see the sweat dropping off the person's face. That's too much graphics for me. That is way too much graphics for me. And you can look back in the Microsoft days. And I'm sorry for the Microsoft people out there. But games got pushed to that point. I understand. It's like you're saying that my system's so strong it can do this, but just because it can be done doesn't mean it should be done. I am a Nintendo person. Nintendo is more about innovation and the actual controls over the looks. And if you look at the indie game scene right now, not something like Elden Rings, which is a mainstream AAA title, which I might be wrong on that. It might not be a AAA title. It might not be from a major publisher. I need to relook at that. But by far, it is more of a mainstream game than some of these indie games. And some of these indie games are absolutely phenomenal, and they're pixel graphics.
And then you look at the graphic style. It's a joke. It is like last gen being sold for new gen. Like, I don't understand, like, who they made this game for.
Who they made this game for? They made this game for people that like a challenge. They made this game for people that go, oh, I've been told that this game is so hard. I need to see it for myself. This game is meant for people who like finding this is how you break a game. This is how you change. This is how you do things, and to show off all the crazy stuff you can do, all the skips, all the tricks, the stuff that the average person is not going to find right away. And in a way, it would be for the type of community that I would love to grow. The people that go and share that information with their peers. The type of people that would be like, how'd you do that? I want to do that too. And I truly, I want to be part of the speedrunning community. But as of right now, I truly am a nobody with no community. Hence why I'm doing a video such as this, where it is live, it is off the cut, for anyone that is currently here. And this is really mostly actually just to prove a point, covering the original video plus its current video, to prove the point that even a nobody, an absolutely nobody that nobody cares about, that if I was to disappear, nobody would care. I don't get any money. I don't get any fundings. I'm so small, I'm not even part of any program on YouTube. But I still need to follow their rules. I don't have a community to go after someone that's like this, who has millions of viewers, millions of people behind them. I am truly the smallest person on YouTube that could possibly cover this, outside of someone just starting an account. But some of the wording that he uses, I strongly do not agree with.
Where like you want low frame rates, but that for me, that's a massive deal breaker. I'm a massive motion buff, and
now right there, like I was saying before, Souls games are tank controls. Just because you have a default tank control doesn't mean it's lower graphics. This is part of the Souls genre. It really is. And if you were to speed up the Souls games, and I think they actually did this within the speedrunning community when they went from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One with the original Dark Souls, the frame rate actually did go up slightly. And making that frame rate go up without changing the control schemes in the game made the game harder. Because now the enemies are moving faster, and the characters' dodge windows and stuff like that are smaller. So the game is set that way just because it needs to be. Otherwise, it would be harder. With smaller windows, bigger attacks frames, it would be insane.
And to do something like that is unacceptable. Most of your time in the open world is spent just like running around kind of aimlessly, if I'm being honest. It's one of those games where like it's so spread out. The map is so big.
It's almost like he never heard of Skyrim or Elder Scrolls. And I believe that's what Elder Scrolls is doing too. They're using this big open space to give you that room to explore, to discover. It is a game of discovery. If you look at the original Dark Souls, the lore that's in there is extremely deep. If you go looking for it. From the video that he has, from a lot of the clips, he might be just getting clips from other people. That is a very good possibility. But I don't know this guy, so I cannot claim that. But Dark Souls has been known to be like Five Nights at Freddy. It has a massive story, but you have to look for it. There are details that only the people that want to find them will find them. If you're just playing the game to play the game, you're not going to find the lore. And I wish I had a clip of Matt Pat on file right now just to press a button to play it. Because I swear, Matt Pat has probably one of the best lores on YouTube. And that actually hurt my throat doing. How does Matt Pat do it? How does Matt Pat do it? One of the best sayings of lore on video. On YouTube.
You're going to spend a lot of time running around in a very open field that doesn't necessarily have a particular purpose for being that open. I'd like there to be a purpose to almost everything. Like, everything is interactable.
Alright, purpose to everything. In the very first Zelda game, the purpose of putting some of the most strongest enemies close to the starting zone was to tell the unskilled players, you don't want to go this way. This is the very first Zelda game from Nintendo. Sometimes the reasoning of something being there is as a deterrent to say, hey, maybe you want to be careful of this thing. We put it right next to a save point because you need to watch out for this thing. You are not ready for these types of things. When you see these things, look to a different path. That could be a possible purpose. Maybe it's there because of a lore. There could be a lot of reasons why it's there. But it all comes down to, are you looking for the reason? Or are you just belly aching? How much time did you actually spend trying to find the lore? 2 hours, 3 hours, a month, 10 years? And the reason why I say 10 years is because that's about how long Matt Pat's been looking at the Five Nights at Freddy lore across the entire genre. That's the one guy. It's like when you talk Five Nights at Freddy's, you have to mention Matt Pat. You have to mention Game Theorist. But in this subject, for this controversy that's going on, I do have to mention Matt Pat's video on the Five Nights at Freddy AMR. He was completely right and did the right move by telling his community, guys, you need to chill out. Now, even though I'm only covering this video right this moment, the other large content creators, which I've been getting their stuff in my feeds and whatnot, of, oh, you should check this out, you should check that out from YouTube. You don't often see people pulling the Matt Pat on that and telling their communities, guys, you need to chill out. As a group, we cannot be doing this. We need to set ground rules. You cannot be putting like this type of information. It's not out there on the internet. You cannot be calling them. And even if it's something like an actual physical business, if the number is out there on the internet, unless you're using that number for its intended purpose, you shouldn't be doing it. And it's the same thing with YouTube, same thing with Discord, same thing with Twitter. Even though, yeah, we have all these platforms that can be used, just because we can doesn't mean we should. But in the same sense, as a content creator, we're on soapboxes. We're the ones with all eyes on us. Except for me, because I'm a nobody. I'll be lucky if I have 2 views on this video. And I'll be lucky if one of those views even get to 1/3 of this video and even gets to this point. And that's mostly because I truly am a nobody.
Things like that, but it just doesn't feel like that. And I think without spoiling any parts of the story, which is lackluster by the way, I think that will be as honest as anyone's going to be about this product. I don't know.
Probably about as lackluster as Five Nights at Freddy is. But keep in mind, Five Nights at Freddy has an extremely in-depth lore if you look for it. How long did you spend looking for the lore? When you got a piece of paper, did you just pick it up and turn it off? Or did you actually sit there and read it? This is the same problem Final Fantasy XIV has. Most people that came from World of Warcraft has an extremely in-depth story that you don't have to read to enjoy the game. Final Fantasy XIV, it's more, you're able to enjoy the game more when you read the storylines. Each quest you have has a meaning behind it if you read the story. But for World of Warcraft, a lot of the storyline that goes behind some of those quests, they seem like a filler Naruto episode. Where it's like, okay, that's kind of cool, but what does it have to do with the main plot? But then again, most MMOs have to have something like that. But it really all depends on presentation. It really does.
I don't know who they made it for. Again, I couldn't speak lowly enough about this game. I don't recommend it. And I think if you're smart, you'll just play something else. That's the review. Take it or leave it. Oh. Today I'll be giving you...
Take it or leave it. And what most people did was they took it, and I think I remember seeing like other videos that did cover more of this, where like this video seems like it does have a couple of edits to it, but it might not. It might not. But his newest video, his newest one day ago, right here. This one right here, he said, this is the reason why I decided to do this. He says so much in here that's just seems off the wall. Completely off the freaking wall.
What makes Febreze car vent clips different? Febreze.
Yeah, for the commercials, I'm gonna have to just minus them out, because, like, as you can see, like that last video, it was not his own. It was a re-upload of it, and it was a re-upload of it. But the fact that he has ads on this video means that he is monetizing it. Keep in mind, this video has ads and therefore is monetized. While you're watching me pausing and talking and pausing and talking and pausing and talking, I'm such a small nobody, I have no monetization. I barely have a fan base. I am the loser that people don't know exists, and if I disappeared, nobody would care. So this is his newest video. Let's give this one a good look-see.
Because of the talking points of the Act Man and Review Tech USA, my family is being threatened. My wife has been threatened, and it's to the point where people are threatening to rape my wife in front of me, hold me down, and make me watch, bash my head in with a hammer until my eyes bleed out. They're going to slit my throat and watch the blood come out of my mouth. Very graphic ways of talking about how they want to murder me because I'm some homophobic, transphobic piece of shit menace, copyright abuser that doesn't belong on the platform.
Now, the part that he was saying that he led off with, for any community, that is a giant no-no. That is an absolute giant no-no. I don't care who you are, what your community is, what the size is. You don't do that. And I've seen the large content creators put their stance on that being the same exact thing. You do not do that.
These are talking points that Review Tech USA and the Act Man have put out there. And it's...
Now, if they did put them out there, I don't know of it. I haven't seen those. Because YouTube, with their algorithm, I haven't been getting Review Tech stuff in my inbox recently. I don't follow the Act Man. Truthfully, I didn't even know about the Act Man until the controversy started. If anything, it probably made the Act Man bigger.
Because of these talking points, they've inspired hatred. And I need to talk about this as a content creator, as a YouTuber, and as a person, as a husband, as somebody who is just a human being in the world dealing with a true injustice on the platform, which is larger YouTubers using that influence when they don't get the result they want.
Now, the thing is, yeah, larger people do have more weight to throw around. But let's go back a little bit.
Man have put out there. And it's because of these talking points, they've inspired hatred. And I need to talk about this as a content creator, as a YouTuber, and as a person, as a husband, as somebody who is just a human being in the world dealing with a true injustice on the platform, which is larger YouTubers using that influence when they don't get the result they want.
Now, the thing is with these larger YouTubers, it comes down to how are you, as a content creator, as someone who has a fan base, what are you doing to reduce what your community is doing negatively? What stand are you taking? Are you just taking a step back and saying, hey, do what you do, I don't want to hear about it? Because this is probably going to be something that a lot of people are probably going to put me down for. You got to look at like Fox News, NBC News, the stuff with the Trump scandal. Now, this has been a couple of years ago too with the whole Trump thing. Did he or did he not start a riot over losing a presidential election? That's been up for debate for a long time. Like, even after the fact, it's still up for debate. I'm not a person that's into politics, but yet this stuff still hits my ears. This stuff still becomes a talking point. Now, what he's talking about right here is a smaller scale version of Trump. Is there a lot of things that Trump say that piss people the fuck off? Yes. Yes, there is. Is there things that he did that were not right? Yeah. And the proof of that is that they had to take him off Twitter because things were happening because of the stuff he was saying. Sometimes it's more about your actions and the words you bring onto your platform than anything else. And a little bit further in this video, you'll start seeing what I'm talking about when I'm saying the words you say on this on the platform. Because if you're willing to repeat them, which there are some things in which he's not willing to repeat, which is good. But there's still other things that are like, come on, it's like, the way you're phrasing it is bad.
They don't get to just demand YouTube around like the bullies they are, and YouTube gives in. Then they start painting everybody as a conspiracy theorist, a sympathizer towards hatred, and labeling me as hatred. The fact is...
Oh, it's an ad. But that works, But, yeah. It is easy as a content creator to accidentally start something. And with this whole debate, that's what I feel like what's happening. This was all started with not thinking through the right thing. That's why I started off with the first video. The video that I feel started the root of this problem, the root of this conversation, the root of this video that was posted a day ago. Not even a day ago, 8 hours ago. 8 hours ago. So it's one of those things of how much can you say that's going to rile up other people to do something? So even though you're not doing it yourself, even though you didn't say it directly, and I don't have any of what a lot of these large streamers have, of actual Twitter posts, actual this and actual that, stuff for editors to actually slip in and put up. I don't have any of that.
And labeling me as hatred. The fact is, this is happening because they don't like me and they want me removed off the platform. And we're going to talk about all of this. I don't care what side of the argument you sit on, but there are some things...
Okay, yeah, we are going to talk about all of this. We really are. Now, whether this gets a response video to it, most likely it's not, because I am a nobody. There are probably some things I might have to skip over because this is a 23-minute video.
Thing that has to change here, because now it is spilling over into real world conduct of hatred and to malice that can lead to even worse. So I am here to try to clear up some of these fallacies. So please try to listen unbiasedly, as again, I'm just trying to set the record straight for anyone willing to actually listen to the facts. The Act Boy has created a lynch mob. I never ban-evaded, I never doxed anyone, I'm not a homophobe.
Now, like I said, I haven't really been part of this all too much. Have not really been part of this all too much. So, I don't know if he said anything about that group of people, for that grouping, for that community. So I don't know what was said on that part. So I am really coming from a space of non-bias. I don't know this guy. I don't know any of the large stream community content creators. In fact, like, if I was to try to get permission to use any of these videos, I'd be kicked out of their Discords. I'd be kicked out, never responded to in their comment section, because nobody knows who the hell I am.
I mean, what more can I really say? YouTube, the beautiful thing about this, is a platform that has their own policies. And
yes, they have their own policies, and those policies are mostly to protect YouTube itself first, content creators second, their communities third. YouTube's policies are to protect YouTube and to regulate what is put onto their platform. Because the last thing YouTube wants is for a big company such as Disney, a big company such as Universal Pictures, a big company going after them. Us small little fries, we're a drop in the damn ocean. Unless we're making $250,000, YouTube don't care about us. And I can say this because I am a nobody that nobody cares about. This is my main channel. This is my only channel on YouTube. Yes, I do have Twitch content, but that also has its own stuff too.
the ultimate authority has come out and told him, I didn't do any of this stuff. Now, that's not good enough for him, and he didn't get his way. So he then tries to come up with other talking points. But the fact is, I never doxed anyone, and there will never be any proof or any evidence of it happening.
All right. With that possibly could be true. Once again, I don't have any of the evidence for it. For me, this is all hearsay. But it is also very possible. And this goes back to the MatPat video with the Five Nights at Freddy's ARG. The community itself, MatPat didn't do it. But MatPat was the one that got blamed for it. But he was the bigger man and took responsibility for the actions of his community. He's the one that stepped up saying, hey, we need to put some ground rules. So if doxing was done within your community and you did not do anything about it, it's kind of one of those things of, yes, you did not do it. But yes, you should have done something about it.
And anyone who asks for proof or evidence of what I said or where I said it, where did I release this this personal information of his, everyone who asks where and to link specifically where I'm doxing the Act Man is immediately a conspiracy theorist just trying to take my side, a quantum TV sympathizer. They're siding with hate, and it's all of this bullshit. Because
now, he's saying it's bullshit, but like I was just saying, if it was a community member, someone within your community, what did you do about it? Even though it was not you doing it, neglecting the problem and pretending it's not happening can still lead to liability. And don't quote me on that either. Please don't quote me on that, because I might have it mixed up backwards. Yeah, I watch Legal, but there are some things I pay attention to where it's I kind of have to because I want to be a business owner. And I want to understand how the world works. But taking no action is sometimes the wrong action. And sometimes pleading ignorance isn't enough.
Because he's not getting his way from these people. And it's quite simply, they're not joining his mob. Now, one of the talking points they've been trying to cancel me with for the longest time is saying that I'm some homophobic, you guys, the whole spiel that they push out. Let me just kind of put this out there. It'd be very hard to be a vegan like I am and be homophobic.
Not impossible. Just because what you eat is only vegetables, that you do not eat meat, that you do not consume dairy, that does not determine sexual orientation. It does not determine phobias. It's kind of like saying I live out in the woods. That doesn't mean I'm not an arachnophobic. I could be a cabin man. I could be a wild man in the cabins with no internet, no TV, no lights. I make my own candles. I built my own house. I have a garden in the back. But when I see a spider, I freak the hell out. Just because I live in the woods doesn't mean I'm not an arachnophobic. So, just because you're a vegan doesn't mean that you don't have a bias against people. This statement right here, I strongly disagree with. Your eating habits does not determine your dislike preferences. Just because you dislike eating meat, or you choose not to eat meat, or you have some type of medical condition that prevents you from eating meat. Reason why I say medical condition, there's a tick out there that if it bites you, you become allergic to meat, and you are unable to eat meat, and then you have to become a vegan. Not by choice, but by necessity. Because it now negatively affects your health.
A vegan literally can't be homophobic.
Wrong! Absolutely wrong!
If I'm so homophobic, why would I support their businesses?
If you like the business, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter their lifestyle. If you like the services they provide, you take part in them. That's the way that it goes. That's simple. Those people might be the only people that provide that service in your area. You have to go to them. Look at big corporations, and this is a meme. This is a meme that goes on. Let me find it real fast. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good one. I'm trying to find actually the one I was thinking of. Here's a good one. This is just a quick search. This one right here. on the right hand side. Corporations during Pride Month be like, hey, companies after Pride Month. It was a front. It's basically saying that it was a front. So it's very easy that to hide your true feelings, you do something completely opposite to what your standards would be. And there are very clear cases that can be made of governors and senators that were going full anti LGBTQ, and then they're put out on the news being like, oh, hey, this senator that's been putting up a case against gay rights was found in a gay brothel. And it's like, why would that senator be partaking in LGBTQ activities if they're against it? And the only reason I can think that they're doing that is because they're ashamed. Because of the way that society is. That as a majority, there's too many people out there that in the past looked down upon it. And when I'm saying in the past, I mean for generations. And we're just getting into a spot where the generations are saying, oh, okay, it doesn't hurt me any. And the generations are becoming more open-minded. But we're still in a heavy mix of open and closed-minded people. And some of those closed-minded people are against their own show up against their own standards. And they put on a front. So it's very easy to be that you might be putting up a front. We don't know. We just don't know.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But they don't care about logic. They just want to lie, frankly. Now,
and like I said, I don't know. That's not a lie. There might be a double standard in there. But we'll see.
now let's be very real. Let's talk about why they're saying this. 5 years ago, I was hacked. Yeah, let's say that again. 5 years ago.
He said he had 5 years to go over what went awry. Now, this all comes down to perception. What he's about to say falls under perception.
I was hacked, okay? It was nasty, okay? But here's the bigger picture that nobody understands. Everybody asks, why were those tweets left up for so long? Let's be real, okay? My PlayStation, Xbox, emails, all this shit got hacked, okay? My priority was not Twitter.
Doesn't matter if your priority was Twitter or not. Your priority is the way you look as a content creator. What type of stuff you say. For me, this video itself is very out of character for what I do. This video, this live stream, is extremely out of character for me. And I realize that. And I say that. And I'm openly vocal about that. But if someone was to hack into any of my accounts, if someone was to make an account for me, and I somehow got control over set account that had stuff that was being said for me, as a content creator, whether I use that platform or not, I'd be taking that stuff down and trying to get rid of it as soon as possible, because that makes me look bad. Because I don't agree with it. I want it gone. I didn't say it. It was not me. It needs to be out. So, yes, why did it take you so long to take down this stuff? And saying, because I didn't care about the platform, is not an acceptable answer. Because you are a content creator. It doesn't matter where your content is, whether you use that platform or not. It matters how long it took you to take action.
As big of a shock as that may be for some people, my priority was never Twitter. Because think about it. My Twitter got hacked. I got the fucking account back. Great. Okay. I'm moving on to more important stuff like my PlayStation that has my payment information. Hello. Actual money. Okay.
So you're going to be telling us it took you 5 years to take care of your account, all the accounts that got hacked that had payment information on them? You're going to tell us it took you 5 years to take care of every last account that had the payment information on it? That should have maybe taken you 3 months tops. And then move on to the stuff that you don't care about as much. I understand priorities. I really do. You take care of top priority first. That's why YouTube takes care of top priority first. And it ain't us content creators. It's YouTube itself. YouTube cares about YouTube. Hence why us content creators, we need to care about us first. And what our perception is of how people perceive us.
Okay. I'm trying to focus on other shit that's like more important. Like, I don't know, my email.
Your perception. You should be caring about your perception.
That has all of my main shit for my business on it, okay? Which,
okay, that point there, yes, the emails with the main businesses and whatnot, yeah, that does come a little bit above perception because that's financial. But it should be financial, then perception. The fact that you forgot about your perception does leave a big question of why did it take so long?
by the way, still to this day, one of those main email accounts, still I've never gotten back. I have issued so many complaints to Yahoo, called them so many times, and they told me, yeah, unfortunately, we can't let you back in your account unless you remember the password from all those years ago when I set it up.
Enjoy unlimited DVR storage.
Alright, so, yeah. They be like that. But there's other things around it, such as, like, getting mother's maiden name and this and that. Like, forgot password. But, yeah, there are some things, and I didn't think Yahoo still had actual email accounts. Because I moved from because I had Hotmail. I have Hotmail accounts that I can't get back into. In fact, my Riot's game account for League of Legends was on a Hotmail account that I no longer have access to. I was able to get it back no problem. So, Riot Games, you did good.
Back in your account unless you remember the password from all those years ago when I set it up. Problem is, that was one of my OG emails that I had from like fucking middle school, and I just kept it as an adult.
So you couldn't remember one of your OG passwords? Because come on, when we were in middle school, when we were kids, our password would be something like blue cheese. It's like, yeah, my favorite food is mac and cheese, so my password is mac and cheese. Because that's what I can remember. My password is my favorite magic card. Because I damn well love that magic card. I have to pull up that magic card to even get into my past into my email account because I can't even spell the damn name because magic is crazy like that.
So that kind of stuff bites you in the ass. And so I've still been fighting this. This is nothing new, okay? And this concept that I was targeted because I did TV reviews that people disagreed with, back then, I'll tell you what it was. It was the LG C7.
Now, I have no clue what LG C7 is. I haven't really seen any of his reviews for TV shows or anything like that. So I don't know any of his content. All I know is he did a review on Elden Rings completely bashing the game, the Elden Rings community, which is what I started with, the original stuff, because I was going to bring it up right now. But he completely bashed a community. He insulted an entire community. I don't know if he actually went ahead and apologized for insulting an entire community, but it was big. But he was big enough of a channel to be seen. Absolutely big enough to be seen. And that's what mattered. You're a big enough content creator to have been seen. I am a little small fry. I will be lucky if anyone sees this. And yes, I am going to constantly keep bringing that up because until I'm proven otherwise, it's true.
I didn't like the C7, and I didn't like Xbox. And those two communities ganged up on me. Big fucking surprise. This is now, again, a theme. Xbox gamers and Elden Ring gamers coming together and attacking me.
Now, granted, I am a Nintendo person. I never liked Xbox either, really. But then again, Xbox wasn't as bad as PlayStation, in my opinion. But then again, that's fully my opinion. But when you put your thing up as a review, and the review is fully an opinion, I am sorry, good sir, but you are wrong. That is no longer a review. That is your opinion on the game. When I know for me, when I do reviews, I am more calculated with what I say. I go over controls. I don't just talk about the graphics. I don't bash the community. I at least give the game a try. But I also do feel most people that do reviews, IGN, all those big publications, I understand they have millions of games that they need to actually review. I do not believe their reviews are actually done with an appropriate amount of time. I really do not. Just playing a game for 30 minutes nowadays is not enough to give a good enough review for it. Just watching a video on a game is not good enough to tell about the game. As a person that does reviews, it's not about the opinion that you have. Not solely, anyway. And when you're saying a game is bad, a game is garbage, I want to know why you're saying it that. I want to have more calculated proof on why it's being said. And don't get me wrong, there are games out there that are garbage because you take 5 steps and you fall through the floor. you get to a crucial save point before a boss. And guess what? The spawn location for that save point is 3 pixels below the collision specter of the floor. So you are now hard locked out of your save file because it auto saved at the save point that put you 3 pixels under the floor, now making that save file unbeatable. And on top of that, you have to hit that save file to even fight the boss, and that boss is hard. That is the making of a bad game, where the actual function of the game is by default broken. That is a bad game.
People in communities that band together don't like me and they attack me. Review Tech USA had an impersonation account on his channel as a moderator for the longest time, confusing everybody, and knew about it. Okay? The people that don't like me have this weird habit of wanting to be me and make me look like I'm saying things that I'm not saying. Their goal is not to hack my accounts, to delete the accounts. It's to take it over and pose as me.
Now, that is something I do not agree with. If people are trying to do that, that is not right. As for like a poser account, it all depends on how it's being done. Can it be told that it's a poser account or not? Who's doing it and whatnot? Is it being done maliciously? There are a lot of situations that can go around it, but being the fact that I do not know the full details of it, I don't feel comfortable giving an opinion on it.
You don't believe me? There's a guy literally that took my old Twitter handle. He took my old Twitter handle and started making a channel.
South Park did an episode on this one. The Washington Redskins, they lost their name, and Eric Cartman bought it. And this happens quite a lot, though, too. It's just South Park is the perfect example for this. It really is. And keep in mind, it's like even people like Josh Strife Hayes, he does good reviews on MMOs. There are people that go around into MMOs and they try to take his name that he prefers to use in these MMOs. But it's done more as not malicious, but it's his community trolling him as a joke. So at that point it becomes, is it being done maliciously or is it being done in humor? Is it being done maliciously? Or is some random person just happen to take your name without you knowing? There's so many different reasons that it could be happening without having some type of context to it. It's hard to say. I don't have those contexts.
Profile picture still up there, and he's still saying things, and that actually still confuses some people to this day. Okay? I can't tell you how many people can just take a profile picture and take my name, because they're allowed to name their channel whatever they want, impersonate me, and say whatever they want to say. It happens. And I'm sorry to say, I'm more concerned about my finances being compromised, my bank accounts, all this stuff being compromised because somebody got into my email and all this other shit, my business actually going into some dangerous territory.
Yeah, I cannot blame him for that. We cannot blame him for that, for caring about his financial obligations first. But in this video itself, he is kind of not pointing, like, the only time that he said he was hacked was 5 years ago. Now, is this a second hack, a third hack, a fourth hack? When was this hack that he was talking about? When was the time frame this was talking about? Because this video was done 8 hours ago. This video was uploaded 8 hours ago. Is the hack he's currently talking about from this month? Or is it from 5 years ago? The only context I have as a non-biased person is this is from 5 years ago. And if it's taking you 5 years to get to this point of where you're still working with trying to get financial stuff taken care of, I probably would have been looking for some type of outside help 5 months into it, not 5 years.
Because that's the priority. Okay, like, and the thing is, all of this is not even public business. This isn't anyone's business, right? Nobody needs to know this, but they try to make it a bigger deal than it is, and they try to say, well, you left those tweets up, clearly you care. Twitter was not a priority.
As a content creator, the way that you're perceived in the online space should be a priority. Not as high as financials, but at least it should be in the back of your mind still. Not being used as an argument 5 years later. This is why people are asking, why is it taking you so long? You waited for the crap to hit the fan before dealing with any of this.
And it just so happened, by the way, for everybody thinking I deleted it while Review Tech USA was streaming, like he likes to lie and say, Tipster was the first person I saw streaming it, and I only deleted it while I was seeing Tipster stream.
Truthfully, I have no clue who Tipster is. Absolutely none. This is the first time I'm hearing the name, and I haven't checked him out yet. But right here, for me, this is an admission of guilt. I waited until a person covered the content, went, oh shit, and then took action on something that is a 5-year-old event. It would have been better to have left it up and alone saying, oh, that's from 5 years ago. I forgot it was even fucking there. And now I'm starting to sound like Tectone.
Okay? Because I didn't know it was there. And I don't social media, people, okay? I don't care about this shit.
You don't social media as a content creator. I do have a Twitter. I do have an Instagram. I am not big on them, but I still watch them. I still look at them. I try to post up content that I feel is share worthy. It is few and far between. Sometimes it's not even within what my friends say is like, oh, should you be posting that on your business account? Because it's stuff like, come on, Netflix. When they had Pokemon Journeys and another Pokemon, I think it was like Pokemon X and Y next to each other, and it's like Ash looking like surprised or something, and like Eevee doing the begging pose, and it's like, come on. It's a children's show, and you're doing that. Because, even though, yeah, I do want to be more for a kid-friendly base, I don't have I have all my content set as 18 plus because because I am an adult myself. I play violent video games. I still curse from time to time. Now, I might not curse all the time, but it comes out. I'm an adult. It happens. So my content is more meant for people like me. I would I would be I would be cautious if I were to let my kids watch some of the stuff on my channel, because it has stuff like guns shooting and stuff like that. Because it's stuff like Dead by Daylight, where it has blood and fantasy violence. But I also grew up in a very sheltered in a very sheltered lifestyle.
So I'm sitting here watching Tipster try to frame me and say, look at all this crazy shit you wrote in 2018. And I'm like,
is it really framing you if he's going through your stuff that is in a public place, able to be pulled up by anybody, that you left up? Now, removing it while it's being displayed is just adding shade to it. It's making it look worse than it really is. And keep in mind, there are people in social media that are not content creators that said stuff when they were in high school. They were 14, 15 years old, and now that they're like 35, are going, oh shit, I said that, and I lost a job because of something I said on the internet when I was 15, 20 odd years ago? Yeah, that happens. But that's because either we make it look bad, people don't ask about it, or you're left in a position where, like myself, I'm not able to go and find out the truth. Because I'm such a small, insignificant being on the internet, nobody wants to interact with me. Because I'm too small. Because that's the way the internet works.
what the fuck is that? Seriously? And I go in and I delete it because I don't even know that there is a backlog. I've said this 1,000,001 times, and the funny thing is,
There's always a backlog. YouTube has a backlog. Twitch has a backlog. TikTok has a backlog. There are programs called Wayback Machines. Entire internet pages that were shut down can still be pulled up. Because that is a thing. If it's on the internet, assume it is permanent. Always assume there is a backlog. Always assume there is a way to find what has been removed.
disavowed it because when heinous things are posted, you get rid of heinous things. Period. Otherwise, it's the same as agreeing with it.
Not true. Not true. You can come out and just say, hey, I was hacked. I can't get rid of this. Things on the internet are permanent. There are backlogs. Everything from this time to this time was not me. But the moment something else happens that reflects what you were saying were not you, that's when you lose credibility.
I got rid of it. And now, because I got rid of it, they're like, oh, see, he's guilty.
It's the timing, the perception. Everything is within perception. The fact that you are getting from this perspective that I have here, from what you are saying, it sounds like you were getting rid of it because somebody was looking at it. That you caught somebody with their hand in the cookie jar. And then you were like, no. There's no more cookies in here. And then you're standing there taking the cookie jar and holding it upside down over the garbage can. It doesn't look good.
I really don't care that you don't like that people don't like me and they say nasty shit about me.
Don't like you? I don't know you. I do know Review Tech. Not personally, but as a spectator. I do know Camelot. Not personally, but as a spectator. If I tried to contact any of them, I wouldn't get the time of day. If I post something in Asmongold's chat, I'd be lucky that he even reads it. Because most of the time, these big content creators, they don't notice you unless you put some type of money into their pocket. And you know what? That's the one thing I don't have. Because if I had money, more people would know about Altogether Games. I would have storefronts. I would have franchises for esports. As a starting point, as a low-end esports. Because right now, the only thing I ever see about esports is high-end, super competitive, where you're either major league or no league.
But what I do care is when you blatantly tell lies, like he's homophobic and he wants all gay people shot and killed, that's now you creating hate speech. You've done that. I've never said that on any level. And
You might not have said it, but what about your community? Because not acknowledging what your community is doing can be perceived as you agreeing with your community. And as a content creator, you are on the soapbox. You are the head. You are the one being seen. And by being seen as not saying anything, might be perceived as you being the one saying it. But then again, I don't have context to that.
the fact that you're now going with that, because let's be real, I've read that tweet, and that tweet doesn't even say that all gay people should be attacked or harmed. It never says anything like that. I'm not agreeing with that heinous tweet, but what I am saying,
I never saw the tweet. I don't know who the tweet's from. Now, if he was to put up more information than just this video and maybe do a little bit more editing, because obviously this video is edited because it does have jump cuts for obvious reasons. Mine don't, because I do a lot of them live. I do them off the cuff, off the lip.
is not even the tweet that you're using to paint that picture or create that narrative says that. So you're clearly doing this because you hate me, and it's clearly agenda based. I mean,
It might not, I mean, it might be agenda based. It might. Or it might be the way that you phrase things, the way that you say things. The only video that I've seen, you were calling a franchise of games dog shit.
with this whole Act Man situation, are we really listening to a guy who has used the F word with no apology outside of some disingenuous crap? Because if you look at his recent interviews where they say, and you don't still talk like that with your friends today, and he's like, hesitancy. Why?
Hesitancy does not exactly mean guilt. Is not a immediate admission of guilt. Because people get habits. Bad habits, good habits, they stick. So sometimes, yeah, it comes out. Because that's how you're accustomed to talking. Just because you talk in one way doesn't mean that you support or are against a group of people. But there's still a way to turn a phrase. How things should be done.
Why? Because he still feels these things. He still says these homophobic slurs that he's so outraged over. Are we really listening to the guy who uses the N-word with the hard R?
Which, I don't agree with that one. You shouldn't be saying that word at all. In any variation of it. Really any variation of it. Because we're all people. If we were all in a horror video game and all had our skin removed and we were just running around as pieces of meat, you would not be able to tell the melatonin in the skin because the skin is no longer there and melatonin is only skin deep. Or at least I believe that.
And then says that there are worse words he could say and that could be said. This isn't somebody who is some crazy victim social justice warrior that's just being unjustly handled by some menace and YouTube siding with hate. This is a guy that has a pattern of behavior, literally proven. He's apologized for it, fine, but still feels that way because when you watch him candidly speak in interviews, he shows himself and tells on himself. You guys have parents that ever told you that? Like,
I have not actually seen any of the interviews that he's talking about. I do know he's still talking about Act-Man. And I have yet to see a single one of Act-Man's stuff. Like I have not seen any of his content. So I do not know whether this is something that Act-Man does or not. I cannot comment on that. But I think as a small kid, it's one of those things of, yes, kids do show a behavior pattern. This is true. To where they will do certain behaviors. And when they're doing those certain behaviors, it's easy to say, no, you're lying to me. And start accusing them of one thing or another. Because my son does that. My son has a couple of medical conditions that leave him where he cannot control his bowels properly. Now, when accidents happen, accidents happen. I don't care that they happen. You'll love them anyway. You help them clean up and you move on. But when they start going, no, it didn't happen. No, it didn't happen. But they're backing up into a corner. They're acting defensively. They're refusing to do a simple task. And then when you go and say, since you're refusing to do this simple task, I need a little bit more proof to believe what you're saying of no, you didn't. And sometimes it's a little proof that goes a long way. But even then, even in my son's case, where he's acting super defensively. He's refusing to show proof that he's not lying. It's still possible that he is telling the truth. I know the last time I got into a big fight with my son over a topic just like this, where he was telling the truth. He was refusing to prove that he was telling the truth. He was acting as if he was lying. And I fully assumed that he was lying because he was acting in the way that he acted when he was lying, because it's starting to become a habit for him. And because he did not want to show proof that he was not lying, he did not want to show proof of the truth, because I don't know if he felt if it was embarrassing or not. He says he's not embarrassed, but he might be lying about that, because he just straight up didn't want to show the proof that he was telling the truth. And I'm only human, so just like a lot of these communities, it's easy to get angry when you think you're being lied to. It is very easy to get angry when you think you're being lied to. And then when you don't want to show the proof, it just gets people angrier. Because they already think you're lying. And the only thing that's going to change their mind is to prove that you're not lying. But then again, there are some situations where you can't show the proof that you're not.
You know you told on yourself, right? He does that all the time when he speaks. Are we really going to listen to the guy that cares he hates ban evading so much? Meanwhile...
Alright, I'm going to have to look this one up too, because that is a word that I don't know. Oh no, okay, saying ban evading, which is the act of evading a ban.
Again, ultimate authority about their terms of service and their platform tells you I'm not violating terms of service, including ban evading, which is a part of TOS, right? He brought it to them. They said no. He couldn't take it. So what does he do? He runs to Keemstar, who's been ban evading since 2013.
No clue who Keemstar is. Absolutely no clue. But ban evading is basically you're making another account because because account A got banned. You make account B. Or if you think you're going to be doing something that could cause account A to get banned, you create account B. Or you create account C. This is why YouTube does create policies and stuff like that. Because YouTube only wants you to have one account for content creation on their service. YouTube would actually kind of prefer that you only had one account, period, on their platform. Because that's easier to monitor than one person controlling 10 accounts. And it's a lot easier to hide what you're doing when you're posting stuff as John Smith, Joanne Wright, Pink Baboon, random name inserted here, and then you're commenting in different ways based upon what account. And whenever you feel like you're going to be putting out something that could get you banned, you use inappropriate name channel here. And that's another form of ban evading. By posting stuff that you might not think the platform wants on it on a separate channel. and then using outside media such as Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, or not YouTube, because we're talking about being on YouTube, but Instagram, TikTok, Discord, saying, hey, I put it up here. Go check it out. Because all on those services, they know name A. And you're telling them to check out your name Z. That's also another form of ban evasion. Or at least it should be. If it's not.
Oh, let me tell you. Oh, he cares so much about ban evading. Are we really listening to the guy who was told, let me say that again, who was told that I'm receiving racist death threats, black people hanging from trees, all the kind of crazy shit you would hear about, like seemingly from like the 1950s back in that time period, right? Like straight up, okay? Was told about it. Doesn't disavow it once. And
now, just by watching this video, he is telling us that he's receiving this types of threats. He himself is telling us. I cannot disavow that. I do not support it. I do not condone it. If it is happening, it is wrong.
And instead of disavowing it or telling his fans, don't do racist things like this isn't how we get it done.
This is actually what I was saying with the Matt Pat stuff. Matt Pat went and said, hey guys, this FNAF ARG is getting out of hand. You need to calm down. We need to, as a community, set a group of rules that these are the guidelines of how we should conduct ourselves, both online and in person. But yeah, what he's saying right now, I can agree with this one. If you are a content creator, yes. If you are aware that your fans are, or if it is brought to your attention that your community might be doing something, keyword being might, even if it's being implied that they might be, you as a content creator need to take the responsibility to correct such conduct that is not fitting of your views. Now, if this same thing was brought up to like someone like Donald Trump, I don't know what might happen. I don't know. I'm not that much into politics, but it's like the stuff that gets put on the news, like some of the stuff I hear that comes out of that guy's mouth, it's like, I'm looking at going like, wait, they voted for him to be president?
He then goes on Discord and he creates, wait for it, the ACT clan.
Recently,
The ACT clan. No clue. No clue.
Knows about the racism, makes a clan. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Now, people can say I'm reaching all they want.
Thing is, what was going on in the clan? Was the clan made to address the situation and try to quell it? Was it made to incite it? Was it made to try to find out more damn information about what your community is freaking doing? There is more context that needs to be made. There really is.
But that's a little convenient. You have a black guy telling you that in your honor you have your fans attacking him with racism.
which is not okay. It really is not. Now, I don't have fans yet, so I don't have to worry about this. A bigger content creator would downright have to tell you, do not contact, do not say anything, and would not be able to put any names or anything in any of their videos. Some of these larger content creators can't even use the video clips. They cannot use the voices. They cannot use images or pictures or faces. Because telling any information is telling too much information. And causes stuff to happen. For me, my community is non-existent. So I can kind of get away with a little bit more because nobody knows and nobody cares about me.
And you make a clan after, by the way, all this happened after the fact. I would get it if it was before. Maybe you could make an argument, right? That
if it was made before, you would be saying that he's the one that incited it. The fact that it was made after leaves questions. Why? Why was it made? We need to find out more. Now, a lot of these people here, I see stuff like Asmongold interviewing the Ackman. As the Ackman putting up an interview with Review Tech. View Tech doing an interview with RGT. RGT bringing on Camelot. Camelot bringing on Asmongold. The real question with those loops, yeah, it's like, I get it, they're all friends. What are you doing? It's very easy to see the one-sidedness of this, but are you trying to reach out to these people? Are you trying to get interviews with these people to tell your side of it? If there are interviews out there, how are you conducting yourself? I haven't seen any of those. What information, what light can you bring onto this situation? Because so far with this video, I have more questions than answers. I truthfully have more questions on this situation than anything that has been answered.
oh, it's not like that. He made it after. He made it after the fact. Are we really gonna believe the guy who got himself demonetized for threatening to dox YouTube family members and employees after YouTube was the victim of gun violence?
Now, I was not even aware that YouTube was a victim of gun violence. Alright. If they were, it is not brought up with any quick Google search. Yeah. If what he's saying is true, it is not easily brought up with a simple Google search.
Like that whole chapter never happened. Like that wasn't a bad idea. And then later goes on to admit on the Phil DeFranco show that at the time he wrote those tweets, he was angry and frustrated with YouTube.
I don't even know who Phil DeFranco is, so. There we go. Phil DeFranco. Phil DeFranco, commonly known by his online nickname Philly D, is an American news commentator and YouTube personality. He is best known for the Phil DeFranco Show, a news comedy show. So let's see, Phil DeFranco, and I'm assuming he's talking about the Act Man. I wish he had more
then wants to then
context.
pretend like they were satirical? Are we really going to believe the guy after YouTube was the victim of gun violence? Like that whole chapter never happened. Like that wasn't a bad idea. And then later goes on to admit on the Phil DeFranco show that at the time he wrote those tweets, he was angry and frustrated with YouTube, but then wants to then pretend like they were satirical? Are we really going to believe the guy that literally after knowing that he got himself demonetized, went on the Phil DeFranco show and first he went on Twitter and he claimed that he didn't, it was Quantum TV. Quantum TV's false flagging my videos, right?
All right, so is he still talking about the Act Man? It's got to be. It's got to be. Because this one I am able to find stuff on. This, like, even though it starts up with all this stuff here of the controversy that we're currently talking about on hand, I do run into this. This is 6 days ago. The Act Man announced his channel has been demonetized. He appears on the Phil DeFranco show to address YouTube's reasoning. So that's definitely going to be something to look into in the future. I'm not sure if I can even get the footage of the Phil DeFranco show of this. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. This is a reply that's actually as a Google search. So I have no clue if this is actually in referring to the Act Man. We don't know where this is coming from. So this is extremely out of context. I would like to point that out. Extremely out of context. Enjoy the show. And second, I started seeing all the tweets about the Act Man as well as uploading. We'll look into it for hopefully tomorrow's show. So I guess that's the Act Man saying like he's going to look into it as for his show. But at least the context that Quantum's giving right now, there's not enough for an unbiased thing, because that's the way that news is. You can't just watch one news channel. If you only watch Fox, you're only watching one side. If you're only watching NBC, you're only watching one side. If you're watching just Fox and NBC, you're only seeing one community's views and both sides of the community. You got to bring BBC into it, because that's getting someone else's perspective that doesn't give a rat's ass about it. So when the BBC starts talking about the United States, and you're in the United States watching the BBC, and then you're making a correlation between Fox News, NBC News, and BBC News. So you're having the NBC, Fox, and BBC all saying three different things. Who the hell do you believe at that point? You have three viewpoints, three different sayings.
Plays dumb, entirely dumb to the whole situation. Weaponizing people, turning them against me, much like he's doing with this entire situation to make everyone hate me, okay? Goes and says that, okay? Plays dumb, goes on the Phil DeFranco show. Phil DeFranco couldn't help but ask him why he didn't reveal it, and then he gives some bullshit excuse. I didn't know what I should be revealing. It wasn't to mislead anyone. When his
Now, if he is talking about the Act Man, saying, I didn't know what to reveal, that very well could be true, because, like I said, sometimes telling any information at all is too much information. Sometimes you have to ask, should I be sharing anything at all? Is sharing any information going to be breaking rules? So, I might not know what to share, how to share it, or anything like that.
his first thing he wrote was Quantum TV is false flagging all of my videos or some shit like that.
And that might very well be clickbait, because that's how YouTube is. The better you are at clickbait, the more views you get. As a content creator yourself, you should know that. So far, the name on your video here, Drama Set Straight. There's more twists and turns and bullshit in this video than I can even count. I am an outside person. I need more context. And right now, it's like I have an easier time believing the people that are putting up tweets, comments, adding in more material to support their claims. And as I say that, I can't really put up any of that right now because I didn't write down where it is, which is on my bad. But still, the people that do put a little bit more context into their videos, a little bit more context into to explain their point, I do have an easier time taking their sides. And right now, it's like, with the way that this video is going, there's really not, like, there's more drama being added to it than being set straight.
He literally framed me for something he knew at the time. YouTube communicated the reason as to why he was demonetized. And this is the guy we're going to believe is this victim justice for Act Man?
I did not look into why the Act Man was demonetized. Yeah, it's just showing the we'll put it over here. Entertainment. This is from Zachary Fairfox. Please excuse the ads. The Act Man recently appeared on the Phil DeFranco show, adjusting the YouTube decision to suspend monetization on his channel following a stricter series of tweets. The Quantum TV versus the Act Man saga began on April 10th. Okay, so that's pure data right there. That's pure data. when the Ackman uploaded a video titled "The Worst Elder Ring Hot Takes." Yeah, this is just what some people do. They take one person's video and they make another. And Asmongold went over this. Josh Strife Hayes went over this. Heck, the two even made a joke about it. Of where I can actually find the clip of it, where Josh Strife Hayes himself says, "I expect Asmongold to respond to this video, so I can make a video responding to that video. And eventually we'll have a chain of videos of us just responding to each other's videos that goes on for 5 hours." Or something like that. But it's saying, it's like responding to a 2-minute video turning into responding into a 3-hour video. But Quantum TV filed a copyright claim to take down a request on the YouTube, on the video. This caused the Ackman to launch his own investigation, resulting in a second video titled "Copyright Abuse on YouTube," featuring Quantum TV. Now, Legal Eagle actually did a video around this same time, bringing this up as well. A lot of content creators actually went over the fair use. That there are just people that sit in YouTube, they make a video of other people's videos. And not only did, and this isn't even something recent. This is not something recent at all. Going back to South Park. South Park had an episode where Eric Cartman was making a video on a commenter doing commentary on a video in which Kyle's brother Ike made a video on Cartman's video commentary on, I think it was PewDiePie. It might have been Eric Cartman commentary on PewDiePie playing Minecraft. But it turned into Minecraft playing, PewDiePie reacting to Minecraft playing, Eric Cartman reacting to PewDiePie reacting, to Ike reacting to Cartman reacting to PewDiePie reacting to Minecraft. It was such a big thing, South Park made an entire episode about it. So fair use is a thing. And when it starts getting changed, it becomes new content. I think even Tectone did something on it recently. See, fast forward to June. And both creators have released a series of videos regarding the situation. YouTube didn't push Quantum YouTube for abuse its copyright system. Oh, YouTube didn't punish Quantum TV for abusing its copyright system and has instead taken action against the act. Now, that is a video to watch, but this has a lot to it. Like, a lot to it. And this is all brought up from a simple Google search. It's like, read more. It's like, of course they have to bring Mr. Beast into it. But yeah, it's a lot easier for some of these big YouTube creators, but still, a big YouTuber getting demonetized is the same thing as an average person being called into their manager's office and being told, we're sorry, but we're going to have to let you go. It doesn't matter the reason, whether it's a layoff, whether it's you had too many customer complaints, whether, a woman claimed that you were looking at her breast. And every time that she comes into this store, she's complaining specifically about the guy behind the deli counter was looking at her breast. And she's reporting it because she just doesn't like the way your nose sits on your face. She just don't like the way you look. So she's saying you're looking at her breast. You never seen the woman in her life. In your life, she never ordered anything off the deli counter ever. You never had any interactions with her. You didn't even know she existed. But yet, she reported you one too many times for looking at her breast. So now you lost your job. It happens. But losing your job without having anything back up, losing it like that, it's not nice. It's not good. It hurts anyone's livelihood, especially if you don't have the funding set up to find something else. And a lot of times, it's like in this day and age, to find a job, or at least a decent one that can actually pay the rent and just get you by, you need at least 2 years of school. And who has 2 years of income just sitting on the sidelines? And I'm willing to bet that it's not a lot of people.
But then we got Review Tech USA creating another mob against me off of things. But, ask him about that troll he had that got under his skin. Ask him why his first gut instinct as a grown, rusty man, his first instinct was to dig deep and say the first thing that comes to mind, and it was hard F-bomb.
Now, I think I remember that one. And from my understanding, that troll did wind up finding his personal information, was threatening to dox him, and I think he even swatted him. Because I do think Review Tech did wind up getting swatted over that troll. So that wasn't a little thing. And when a content creator gets swatted, that's extremely dangerous. Like extremely, extremely dangerous. But that's also why doxing is so taboo. That's why you don't do it. If you have the information, you keep it to yourself. That's why doxing is so bad. Because it's basically the equivalent of taking a loaded gun, sitting it out on a table in front of a 5-year-old, and walking away. That's basically the equivalent of what doxing is. And a 5-year-old kid that doesn't know a damn thing about guns is going to wind up picking it up, playing with it, thinking it's a toy, and either hurting themselves or hurting someone else. That is basically the concept of what doxing is. It's leaving a loaded gun in the wrong hands. And anything that would be happening with that information from doxing should weigh heavily on your conscience, because you let it happen. You gave the resources to allow it to happen.
Homophobic slur. Ask Review Tech USA about his allegations, if you can call it that, of stealing $200 from his black friend. and how it was only until people were in an uproar about this whole big cheese thing, the big cheese crusaders. Yeah.
Now, the Big Cheese Crusaders, I don't remember that one as well. And saying that, like, oh yeah, I didn't pay back my friend of the opposite melatonin scale of $200. I mean, $200. It's for like the average person, it's a week's pay. But it's enough to care about, but not enough to be devastating. When you start talking like $4,000, that's when it starts becoming of a big deal. And even though this Tectone did pay back his friend, like he had a big subathon just to help pay back to help him pay back his friend. But his friend did something like help him buy a house. So it was warranted to make sure his friend got paid back because it was over like a house. It was like $30,000, which is absolutely insane. That like to think that like over a month or two, that a content creator has enough influence to raise that type of money. But then again, it's believable because we have things like GDQ, Games Done Quick, that raise millions of dollars, and they started as kids in a basement, and then became content creators and grew a community that was all about running that charity. And that charity does do a lot of good work.
That he decided to pay him back. But he tried to screw somebody out of money on the platform. That's literally scamming. That violates TOS.
Yeah, and people are still doing it. How often have you ran across something that said, "Oh, click on this. Mr. Beast has money for you. The first 10 people to get to click on this and give their information will get $100 or $1,000," or basically sounds like something that Mr. Beast would do. It happens. That's how scammers work. They don't care about the TOS.
But he tried to screw somebody out of money on the platform. That's literally scamming.
Now keep in mind, when it's if it's between one person, I really wouldn't call that scamming. Scamming tends to be more massive, going after multiple people, trying to get information, trying to steal not a $200 off your friend. It's like, yeah, when it starts becoming like a community member, it becomes very taboo, very tacky, and it does not show you in a good light. But it's still kind of one of those things of, if it was just the one person, which is what to me makes it sound like what he's saying is it was just against one person. Calling it a scam is blowing it a little bit out of proportion, in my opinion.
Violates TOS. And let's talk about how he has allegedly, gone down this whole sexual assault thing. Now, I personally heard audio on some video about him literally talking about some instance of him fondling some girl's breasts, and then she wanted it, and so he was all right with it. They were in some field somewhere, some weird shit, and it was weird. It was very weird, and he's feeling her up, and then she tells him he could stop, and he's like, okay, what is that?
Now, that once again needs some context. Was it done on his channel? Was it done on someone else's channel? What was the context behind it? Was he talking about when he was a teenager himself? Is he talking about this happening like last week? There needs to be more context if you're asking for unbiased opinions of someone who does not do this type of content, who is only heard bits and pieces from other people. And then when you're an outsider going, well, I don't know who the hell this Quantum TV guy is. Let's go check out let's go check out what he's saying about all this, because it is all directed at him. If this was me, I'd be trying to show as much context as possible. I have not heard any context about himself, of what he's said, of what started this, of, like, to me, this is a lot of he said, she said. This is a lot of mudslinging, in my opinion. And even for me talking about this, of pausing it, breaking it down, trying to really understand what he's trying to get across, there's not enough context for me to understand.
I don't know about you, but that whole story smells a little fishy to me. I don't know anything about it, but I can tell you right now, at the very least, it seems like he has a problem with his behavior and people telling him,
Now, if he is talking about Review Tech has had its own problems in which he was getting trolled, in which he was having like other things happening where YouTube was taking people off his subscriber list. But it's still one of those things of it's not just Quantum that's having stuff like that happen. This has been happening to RGT. It's been happening to Camelot. It's been happening to PTCG Radio, which is a Pokemon channel. Let me pull up the channel's name exactly, because I do like this guy. And I want to make sure I get his name right. Because Wasi deserves it. I don't see it. Okay, yeah, here it is. Here's Wasi's. PTCG Radio. He's even had problems with the YouTube algorithm and people being unsubscribed to him. So this is not just a thing that happens that's like happening with this group with this debate. It happens all over the damn place. Whether you're talking about Elden Ring, whether you're talking about Diablo Immortal, whether you're talking about Lost Ark, Pokemon trading card game, Yu-Gi-Oh, Bakugan, painting your nails, whatever. This happens all over YouTube. Heck, some of this even happens on Fox News and NBC News. Mainstream news channels. Disney going after freaking Universal Studios. It happens. Why do they air it? Because it's ratings. It's what people want to see. People like the drama. And to me, this video so far does not set anything straight. It adds to the drama. It's bringing up things that are in the past that are so super irrelevant without more context.
Exactly feeling you on that. And every time he gets himself into trouble, it's a lot like the actor man. Points fingers at people, makes excuses, complains. You see what he's doing now? Corruption at YouTube, quantum TV sympathizers. This is inciting language for a reason. You know, let's
It sounds a lot like what Donald Trump might have been saying too. So yeah, I can agree that that's all inciting language, because it's saying, well, but then again, this happens in normal mainstream news too. That you have the liberals saying one thing and they only check out their side. You have the lobbyists saying another thing, only checking their side. And that's one of the biggest problems. When you don't have people trying to check both sides and understand both sides, problems happen. But when that one side is not telling their side and they're telling what they see on the other side is wrong, and all the things on the other side that are wrong, without adding in, this is my side. The people that don't know crap about what's going on, like myself, can very well view you as the person that is causing the problem.
let's ask Review Tech USA. He cares so much about doxing, then why did he dox the 316 killer?
Now, this is a subject I don't know about. And he's going to get into it saying it's like, it's a different YouTuber. It might have been like an ARG or something like that. I have not looked into it.
Not an actual killer, by the way. That's a YouTuber that had his state released, his name released, and a bunch of other personal information because Rich didn't like him.
Once again, I did not hear anything about that one. But then again, there have been accounts where people like Shia LaBeouf, he was trying to put out a political statement. He put it up on a flag somewhere randomly in the United States, camera pointing up to the sky so you can't tell where the hell it is, just showing the flag waving with his political statement. A plane flew by. And what people did was they tracked the position of the shadows, they tracked the position of the sun, they saw where they pulled up all the flight paths, and within 24 hours they pulled down Shia LaBeouf's flag. Even if someone does not dox you, there are people that are still able to find you based upon that. And this is saying Shia LaBeouf going full out, trying to hide where the hell this freaking flag was, using a VPN. And they still found it out because an airplane and the sun. People found out what Burger King, somebody stepped in lettuce and posted it on the internet. I think it was Reddit. It might have been 4chan or something like that. But they posted them standing in 2 bins of lettuce saying, ha ha ha, this is the food I serve to you, with him standing in the lettuce. He did it on an anonymous account. They couldn't tell, didn't show a face, just showed his shoes. Black pants, black shoes. still image posted on 4chan. Because it was taken on a phone, because of the data that was labeled onto the picture itself, from a single picture, they found out where the person was and they lost their job and they got fired from their fast food job. Because they posted a picture on the internet. Whether they actually served it to the customers or whatnot is a completely different story. We don't know. It might have been that it fell, it hit the floor, and they were like, oh, this is perfect time for a pitch because we got to throw this shit out anyway. We're going to make a big joke about this. They lost their job over a joke. Whether they did something wrong or not. But the fact that they did a mean-spirited joke was enough for them to lose their job. They put it anonymous. The internet still found out where the fuck they were just because of a single picture. So, it's one of those things. Review Tech has a lot of very tech-savvy people. So saying that he doxed someone, it very well could have just been his community was as diehard set on finding where that person was. It's doable. And that's not just a theory. That's proven.
It's out there. That video is out there. He doxed that man so badly that the guy had to get off of YouTube.
Now, this one right here is saying that there's a video of him doing it. That one is a little bit more believable. This is the context I've been asking for. So this right here, there's potential proof. So I can take your word on this one. That it was actually him because there's actual physical proof of him doing it. But if there was no proof, everything I said before.
Because people were coming after him and his family and all that kind of stuff from what I hear. I did, for a fact, hear the 316 killer show a video. I saw the video of him literally having been doxxed by Rich after making Twitter posts about how he was going to dox him on the platform.
So, the person that was doxxed posted the video then? Or is it the person that was doxxed posts the video of the person doxing them? This is now the gray line. That is the gray line. But still, doxing, not okay. Like I said, doxing is basically leaving a loaded gun out for a toddler to find.
Cross-platform harassment. That's how these YouTubers work, right? Let's ask him again why he doubles down on defending Vosh.
No clue who Vosh is. Although, cross-platform stuff, that's how us content creators work. If you only tried to be on one platform, it will not work. That is a founded proof. Being on just a single platform does not work. You need to be on Twitter. You need to be on Instagram. You need to have some other type of presence to spread, to grow, to find people that normally would not use the media that you are using.
Saying things like, I'm a fan of Vosh, you deal with it. When my chief complaint is that Vosh says the age of consent should be lowered for children, says things like child pornography should be legal, and I'm somehow some horrible human being based off of hearing those things come out of Vosh's mouth.
Once again, you need to know the context of it. Is it age of consent needing to be lowered in this area of the world? Because keep in mind, in the United States, yes, the age of consent is 18. But it also varies on state. You can go get sent out to war before the age of 21. So you can fight for your country, but you cannot drink. It's a different subject, but it's the easiest one to say, to analogize with, because there were a lot of people that joined the military because they couldn't drink here. They went over to Germany. They went over to Ireland, where the drinking age was the same age that they were to be allowed to join the military. So they can drink abroad, but they couldn't drink at home. So without the context on this one, it's hard to say. Because he might be in a state that says that you have to be 21 and wanting it lowered to 18. He could be in a country and say, oh, yeah, I'm in England, or I'm in Deutschland, or I'm in whatever this country is. The age of consent is this age. I'm over in a different country, and the age limit needs to be lowered because it's not the same as my country's. I don't have the context. I don't even know who Vosh is. So it all comes into context. You cannot assume that your audience, especially when you're wanting outside opinions of people that don't know 100% of what's going on, to take your side. To me, this whole Vosh thing sounds like slander on Vosh, using Vosh's example to slander somebody else. Why does Vosh even matter in this thing? This is a brand new name I've never heard of.
Review Tech USA defending those things and saying, well, you're a pedophile. What else could I think? He wants the age of consent lowered, this Vosh guy. He wants child pornography to be legal. He thinks...
Now, child pornography, that should not be legal. There's a reason why Disney gets rated all the damn time about it. There's a reason why Disney constantly gets memed on that they just lost another employee because the police checked out a computer. And I know I'm laughing. I know I'm making fun of that situation, but it's funny because of the mass amount of kids that go to Disney. Disney is a family company. Disney is targeting kids. And they're a massive multi-million-dollar corporation that can't be bothered to do a in-depth background check, knowing that this is a constant problem that they have.
People who watch child pornography shouldn't be held accountable in that kind of stuff. If we have slave labor that harvests our silicone in our computers and shit like that.
Is he talking about Bitcoin? Is he talking about Bitcoin at that point? Harvesting the silicone in our computers. Isn't that Bitcoin?
All these outlandish takes. And he's even got tweets saying things like this. And apparently, Review Tech USA can just hop up and be like, it was an edgy take. Why is it Actman, Mischief, Review Tech USA, all these kind of creators can just say it was an edgy take? And
now, keep in mind, Review Tech USA, they are someone that I am aware of, that I have watched content with. And even though I don't agree with 100% of what goes on over there, there is some things that he does take out of context. There is things he takes where he starts off the episode with a disclaimer.
And no matter the context of what they're saying, it's okay. He is defending a man that is saying child pornography should be legal.
Is he really, though? Or is he making fun of the guy? It depends on the context. Is there a disclaimer saying that this is just all in fun? I don't stand for these things. This is where context comes in play. This is where context comes in play.
As an adult, what would you call that?
It depends on the context.
I don't know what else you call that. That's not decent behavior. You don't do that. I mean, I draw the line at harming children.
Only harming children is where you draw the line. Only harming children? This is what I say with the context. If someone was to say, just put up this clip alone, taking it out of context, it makes you look bad. And I feel like this is what you're doing to all these other people. You're taking things out of context and using them in this video. Harming another human being, regardless of their age, is where I draw my line. Cyberbullying. It's not okay. Doxing people, not okay. Having a mean-spirited joke, as long as no one gets hurt, that's a gray line for me. Talking behind people's back, it's a gray line. It really is.
Period. So he can be mad all day, every day. He's up here calling me a pedophile, so I will join this cancel campaign. You defended a guy that said child pornography should be legal. What am I supposed to call you?
Some of his body language is actually very aggressive in this situation. So it's like, you can kind of tell he's passionate about what he's saying. But with all the other stuff he's been saying, it's very hard to take him serious.
A map? What mental gymnastics could you jump through? You're talking about targeting children, man. That's what it's about.
Now, I think he's still talking about that Bosch thing of him agreeing with that Bosch guy.
Could you jump through? You're talking about targeting children, man.
What is tar rating, by the way? Let's see. Okay, so my spelling sucks. So I'm not going to be able to bring that one up, so I'm not going to be able to find that one. But if anyone actually does get to this point, it would be lovely if you would explain that to me. What the fuck is tar rating?
That's what it's about. Emotions run deep when you talk about that kind of thing, okay? People who actually have families, man. You can't, you're Mr. Father of Three, and he's out here calling me that. If you're a father of three, you should understand that you should never be a fan of Vosh, who said.
Now, I'm a father of two, and I have a I do have a problem with one of my family members because he is a registered sex offender for pedophilia. I don't feel comfortable with him around my kid, especially my daughter. But then again, my ex is completely okay with that. He does have 2 new kids to go along with the other 3 he had. So it's one of those things of it's old, but not going to go too much into that.
Says that child pornography should be legal and the age of consent should be lower, but you didn't. Which kind of makes me wonder about you. YouTube, let me say this again, for anybody watching this video thinking like all I'm saying is just total bullshit. YouTube investigated these claims and they have confirmed that I haven't broken terms of service.
Now, thing is, this video alone, I'm sorry, I do think it's bullshit. And then, yeah, with you yourself might not have broken terms of service. You yourself might not have been copyright striking people. You yourself might not have driven the vehicle in which has caused a lot of these problems. But I can say as an outside person, from the looks of it, it does look like you left the keys on the coffee table and allowed it to happen.
And I've never copyright abused anyone. That is in writing and it was delivered to the act man. This entire situation should have been over months ago, but they keep bringing it up and keep talking about it, saying things like the monetization is good, and I have to talk about it. We need to take a stand against creators like this on the platform.
You neglect the fact that they're saying person A got demonetized, person B did not. Demonetization is a good thing if used in the correct manner. I'm not monetized to begin with, so I can do bullshit like this saying what I want because I'm not losing anything. I'm a no-name nobody that nobody cares about. But I still watch what my mouth is because I don't know where I'll ever become, what I will become, what I can become, what will pick up, what will take off. It's all a matter of perception, and what happens in the past is permanent. I can't tell where the future takes me, so I still have to watch what I do. And for me, all these debates and everything, this is a fad. This is a one-hit wonder. This is what you wind up being known for. You're a person that caused a huge debate. You're the person that caused a big personality to lose their job. That's what demonetization is. So, how many victims is it going to be? Actman, Review Tech, RGT, Camelot, Asmongold. How long before all the dominoes falls and it comes back and strikes the first domino? The one that started it. from my understanding of what the other videos I've been watching are saying, is this thing happened. This reaction happened, but instead of it happening in location A, it should have happened in location B. Is there possible biases when this is being said? Probably. Because these are channels where it's like, you kind of know that they knew each other. And you don't want to see something bad happen to your friends. And on the other hand, it's like, well, of course, they're going to say it should have happened to the other guy because it would have put an end to the situation all at once, and my friend don't get hurt. And when it comes to content creators, we are a giant entity once we get assembled. Once we have a community, we become a chain. And you cannot call a chain if it's just a single link. If you are the first chain, it should be your responsibility to keep track of every chain behind you and making sure that they are standing up for the rights that for the same ideology. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm getting tongue-tied. The same ideological standing that you have.
Even though YouTube themselves put it in writing, I never broke TOS and I'm not a copyright abuser. Those were fair requests for review. It is a constant thing of him now trying to say that I'm doing all of this extra stuff, more accusations, even though he has his answer. This is done by people who are literally everything they accuse me of being, and they are going onto Twitter, roping people in who don't know any better, half of them, right?
Don't know any better. Now, like I said, I do use Twitter, but I haven't seen any of this on Twitter. I follow Review Tech on Twitter. I follow RGT on Twitter. I follow Aspen Gold on Twitter. I haven't seen any of this in my feeds. Or at least I haven't been paying enough attention to them on my feeds. But I do follow a lot of gaming information on my Twitter feeds, on my Instagram feeds. I follow that stuff.
Genuinely saying, hey, talk about this situation. People come in, they share his take because they only reached out to him for some stupid ass reason. Never reached out to me, they would have found all this out.
Once again, like I was saying before, what have you done to reach out and share the information? Sometimes you need to be the one that takes the first step. Because in my experience with dealing with other content creators as a nobody that no one knows about, that is trying to grow, is trying to get a start, when I am trying to reach out to another content creator, I get blocked. Their moderators remove my comment. When my comment is, hey, I want to use a piece of your video. Hey, I want to do this. It uses your IP. It uses your image. It uses your voice. I am here to looking to try and get permission. I get my request deleted and my name flagged for if I do it again, I get banned. So sometimes making these videos of other videos tends to be the only way to get a reaction from the person that made the video. And when you're doing so, it is really, really a good idea to put as much context into the information that you are trying to use. And try to put it in as best light as you physically can. Not just bringing up random people, not just bringing up random situations, but at least telling us when this situation happened, how long ago, why is the fuck it's relevant. Look at what I did. I started this video out with Quantum's first video that started the issue of making a video insulting the Elden Rings, the Dark Souls community. It's not even Elden Rings. Elden Rings is just a piece of Dark Souls. And it plays very similarly to the first one. So insulting a genre and not putting any context to it, you need more context, my dude.
But the problem is, that's just half of them. The other half are the instigators, the people that know about this stuff. And again, for anybody who's confused, all this started because I put in a DMCA claim against a creator who stole my video.
From my understanding, the video that is in question is doing exactly what I'm doing right this moment. Now, whether this video gets DMCA striked or not, or gets requested to be taken down, that is a different story. That is 100% a different story. So it's still one of those things of, it all depends on the context, how it was used. Is there being content made with it? Even though, yes, I'm going through the whole video. I'm going through every last word you say. I'm trying to make it so that I'm not taking anything out of context. I'm trying to give the video at hand the best light I can possibly give it. Because like I said, there are some things I could just go and say, clip, 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 clip. And now, everything's out of context. It makes the person that made the video look bad. While other times, the person in the video is looking bad because it's them and themselves doing it. The only difference is, if you made a video, it gets massive backlash because you made that video, and now other people are making videos of your video that you no longer like what's happening to you because of your original video you made. And now you're DMCAing and striking people and having, and then you're complaining about these people. It's like, oh yeah, hey community, I made this video. This other guy made a video on it. I'm taking the video down because I don't like the negativity I'm getting from this video. But I took my original one down. But yet, I have 5 people that made videos on my video, reacting to my video, within 8 hours of me making this video. And I don't have control over those. That's the true nature of this whole saga, of this whole dilemma, is this coming down to a control? Person A made content. Person B made content out of person A. Person A didn't like the effect of their content because they weren't used to having such a huge audience. So just like me, I can normally I could get away with saying anything I fucking wanted. And it wouldn't matter because I don't have really that big of an audience. But if I said something that put me in such a negative light because I originally thought, hey, it doesn't matter. I don't have a large base. I only have 10,000 people that view me, and then someone that has 10 million people review it. And now, along with my 10,000, I now have 10 million people seeing what I did. I'd be just like this. Or just like that face right there. That's that, oh shit, I did something wrong face. That's really what that face is. Oh shit, I did something wrong. I don't like the outcome of it, and it's out of my control. So, yeah. And that's why so many people went over saying fair use, DMCA, doing the pauses, doing the commentary. It's extremely hard to get something off of the internet completely, especially once you start looking bad because you did.
Uploaded large portions of it, got picked up on the Content ID tool, and I reached out to him telling him to take it down. He took it down and then ran to a bunch of content creators saying, hey, he's false flagging me, because Mischief was in a group with Actman and Asm Gold and a bunch of other creators.
And the thing is, yes, that's exactly what this is. He did a commentary video. He used the entirety of the video, just like I am currently using the entirety of 2 videos. And I am turning a 25 minutes of one person's content into 3 hours of responding to it. It is no longer a 25-minute thing. It is now a 3-minute entity of me explaining how the outsider, the nobody, the person that is unknown views the situation from their current understanding, but without showing the content that is at hand. It is impossible to give the content enough context for people to fully understand it. And I think this is coming down to a control issue and a understanding issue of there not being enough context, a context issue.
And larger YouTubers, lucky him, I guess, I don't know. And that's how this whole thing started. Mischief ran to those larger creators after taking down his video, calling me a false flagger. The moment YouTube told Actman I wasn't false.
Yeah, it's one of those things of, even what I'm doing, if it gets flagged, of course I'm going to say it's a false flag because of how much I paused. I didn't just run it. I went and changed it. I severely went and changed it.
False flagging, those were fair requests for review. That dialogue should have ended, because that is a undisputed fact at that point. YouTube created those policies. They created that copyright strike system.
And that copyright strike system can be very complicated and easy to misunderstand. Keep that in mind, because there is a thing of fair use, and if someone doesn't like how their stuff was used, it can very well be a false flag because of how different the content is and how that was used.
That's not legal proceedings, by the way. That's literally YouTube's version of it. They're telling you, like, hey, listen, this is how we handle copyright on our platform without the law being involved. And we look at things and we review things. And when somebody puts in a DMCA claim, it's a fair request for us to review the content to see if we agree with that.
And I mean, that is understandable. That is a thing that YouTube does. And they do that because if they didn't, there would be so much legal litigation with their name on it. And nobody would ever want to be using their platform. And then they would be having problems with monetization of their own. They wouldn't be able to get Coca-Cola to buy space on their platform. They wouldn't be able to get Mentos to buy space on their platform. They wouldn't have Nintendo posting commercials. They wouldn't have Mint Mobile posting ad space on their channel. The fact that we have ads in our YouTube videos is YouTube's monetization, because those companies paid thousands, if not millions of dollars for YouTube to play their 5-second commercial. And yes, I'm saying 5 seconds because a lot of those companies have caught on that YouTube has a skip button. That skip button lasts for 5 seconds. If they don't get their commercial down to 5 seconds, they're not selling their product.
That if you don't agree with our take on that, you can go to court and then give us a court order through YouTube Legal to have the content removed. So all of this concept of me being a copyright abuser, penalty of perjury, nobody went to court, okay? That is a lie.
It doesn't have to go to court because YouTube tries to prevent that, because it causes legal fees. It means they have to take time out of their day that they don't want to take. They'd rather it be settled outside of court. So that's why that is the first thing they go to. They don't want it going to court because then they have to send a representative. And if they have to send a representative, that means they have to pay that representative. That representative needs to then bother everyone in the office to try to find one video out of 100 million billion just to settle one case. Now, if that one case became 1 million cases, that is a lot of money you're talking about that YouTube has to invest because two people are having a disagreement. And they're forcing it to go into a court almost immediately. That's why YouTube has its rules.
Another lie is that I'm just bullying and attacking some...
With cable-free live...
That he's just bullying and attacking. I with just this one video alone, that's all I've seen. I'm sorry, but that's all I've seen.
Agree with that. That if you don't agree with our take on that, you can go to court and then give us a court order through YouTube Legal to have the content removed. So all of this concept of me being a copyright abuser, penalty of perjury, nobody went to court, okay? That is a lie. Another lie is that I'm just bullying and attacking some minor. He tries to throw out the minor policy, talking about endangerment of a child and all this crazy stuff, because I flagged a video that came up on the copyright ID tool.
Now, What is this minor all of a sudden? If you look at YouTube's policy, children, minors, they're technically not allowed to make content on YouTube unless they're like an X amount of year old and have written permission sent into YouTube saying that they are okay to be a content creator. And from my understanding, this whole big thing has been on content creation. Or a content creator versus a content creator. I don't have context for what he's currently talking about to side with them. Or to side with anyone, really. But if he's saying, like, he's not bullying, it's like he's bringing up so many things out of context. I have to disagree that he's not bullying. Because when you start bringing a lot of stuff out of context, it's because you are trying to be a bully. That you're trying to force people to view things in your way. And that's the reason to hide information.
This is done out of hatred because I use the tools that a content creator has to protect themselves against creators who like to do what this commentary community likes to do. They call themselves a commentary community, but really it's the harassment community.
Now, right here, once again, he's doing it again. He did it to the Dark Souls community by basically downright insulting the entirety of the community based upon one game. Now he's making it against his own community, his peers. For what he is currently doing is he is making content based upon commentation. I have not, like I said, I have not seen any of his videos, so I don't know what his normal content is. But when I look up his name, the only thing I see is the stuff on this topic, on this saga, on this DMCA striking the Actman, for him taking down RGT USA or Review Tech USA, for him DMCAing, or for his community sending DMCA strikes against Camelot. So, in a way, it's like the perspective that I have is he's the newcomer that I don't know a thing about, and the stance that he's taking is very loose. And from the tones and stuff, the way that he leaves off a lot of these videos is very insulting to entire communities.
They like to weaponize their influence, their fan base, to ratio videos, dislike videos with all kinds of hate comments out the wazoo. They like to, again, share each other's takes and just dogpile videos on the search results just because it's fun for them. This is a problem on YouTube. And this has led to very real-world actions of people threatening to murder my family in very gruesome ways. Calling my actual landline, which is not public anywhere, not even on public records.
And like I said in the very beginning when he brought this up, that is not okay. Bringing up MatPat again with the FNAF ARG. If it is not public information, even if it is a phone number that has come out, if it was not public information, you do not call it. If it is a private public number, you do not call it. Watch the game theory video on MatPat calling out his community, telling them to stop, that it is not in the spirit of an ARG. That it is not in the spirit of what the context is. That if it's, yeah, just one person doing it is not a big deal. But when one person's doing it, and the person has 10 million followers, you can assume that at least 1% of that community of 1 million people is also doing it. So even if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zero places, so an 8-digit number, it's like times that by 0.01, 1%, you still have 100,000 people. 1% of 10 million is 100,000 people. If you have 100,000 people calling a pizza place, that very well can be seen as harassment because of how many people are doing it. And that's just assuming that 1% of Game Theory's viewership is taking part in this ARG and calling a phone number. 1%. So even 1% can get out of hand. And that's why, as a content creator, doing nothing is just as bad as starting it yourself.
Which means these people are stalking to find that information. I've looked. My landline isn't public information. You can't find it anywhere, bro. We're not talking about anything but the fact that they are being spurred on by Review Tech USA and the Axeman, along with Asmongold, Mischief, and a bunch of creators talking about this. And all the people that don't know about this, that are being brought in after the fact, they're being brought in on false merits.
Now, this is where I fall in. I am being brought in after the fact. I am being brought in with not all the information. I don't have all the information. And from these two videos, I cannot side with this guy. There is not enough information for me to defend him at all. From the little bit of information that I have on the other side, it is a lot easier for me to defend the other side. I wish I had more context on his side. I wish I could see more of where his view is. But the only thing I can see from his side is him lashing out, lashing back, and being overly defensive. But this is also an ongoing, prolonged thing. And it's understandable that he feels attacked, he feels wrong, and is just plain sick of it. But anyone being brought in at this point, this does not look good. This is not helping his case.
I'm not some hateful, crazy menace to the platform. If I was, you would have heard about me before now. The reason you're hearing about me after these creators have a problem with me is because these creators have a problem with me. That's not a coincidence. That's just how it works. And the fact that they create all these talking points because they're offended and they're upset that they're not getting victories where they want them and demanding YouTube and trying to bully YouTube into doing what they want and to do their bidding, and it's not working, now they're bringing their hateful audience and their mob to come after somebody. And I implore YouTube and everyone who made it to this video, this far in the video, by the way, if you did make it this far in the video, thank you for actually listening to what I had to say. Okay.
Well, I did a little bit more than listen. if there was points that I missed, well, I can't really do much about that other than say, well, I, I'm more than willing to listen to explanations. I damn well do need more context. But yeah, I mean, bigger people do have bigger communities. Just because, and like I said, even if it's 1%, 1%, that's still a lot of people. And yeah, the bigger channels, they do have like that 1 million marker. That's still 1% is still 10,000 people. If I brought 10,000 people around a corner, that would be viewed as an army. And that's 1%. And when you're a large content creator, trying to control the top 1% of people is not an easy thing to do. I mean, granted, this video we're currently watching is saying 10,000 views. 1% of that is like, what, 100? Controlling 100 people is a lot easier than controlling 10,000.
Okay, but the fact is, all these creators are doing all of this because they just have a vendetta. It's personal for them. Whatever reason it is. For Review Tech USA, he doesn't.
And yeah, it very well could be a vendetta because they're seeing the injustice that YouTube is doing of, oh, why does the person that made the first video that started this cause, that made the problem, get to keep their monetization, gets to keep their job, gets to keep on living the way that they've been living? And the person that decided to comment on their thing is the one that gets punished and the one that loses their livelihood and is the one that gets to lose their job. And you can't tell me if a good friend of yours lost their job because of a misunderstanding, you wouldn't be upset for them? Because the way I see this, a lot of this comes up to misunderstanding, misrepresentation, and the main root being that people are emotional. People use the wrong words. People label things incorrectly. And in this case, I find Quantum TV more in the wrong than anything else from his own video. But then again, that was 2 videos insulting 2 different communities as a whole.
Doesn't like being called a pedophile. He's a father of 3 and is offended that I called him that because he said, I'm a fan of Vosh, deal with it, because he supports and defended Vosh, saying, he's on live stream, by the way, for anybody thinking I'm just being some asshole about this. He's on
Live streams do have odds. Live streams do have callbacks. You are able to go, a content creator is able to look back into their past of every live stream they've done on Twitch. YouTube, the reason why I'm doing this as a live stream is because I know YouTube is going to make this public. This will always be on YouTube until I tell them to make it private. This will always be on YouTube until I remove it myself.
On live stream defending Vosh, saying that he literally wants the age of consent lowered, and defending Vosh, saying Vosh didn't write those tweets. But then Vosh is on video saying the same thing. So, I mean, at this point, he's
Wait, so Vosh was saying he didn't make the tweets, and the other person was saying he didn't make the tweets. So they're agreeing?
clearly knowingly backing up somebody with those values. Okay? I can't help but think anything else. I'm not trying to attack him. He's literally like helping people with that kind of thing, okay? And so then you have
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. Get simple.
What was it I was saying? Big corporations have caught on to YouTube. 5-second commercials. So things like Allspice have 5-second commercials now, so you cannot skip them. Because YouTube policy.
attack him. He's literally like helping people with that kind of thing, okay? And so then you have Act Man. That's a whole nother thing. This ballooned from him feeling like, oh, buddy, you opened up a new can of worms. His exact words, I've shown it in a video, where he literally feels like I tried to DMCA claim a video. That's crossing the line. It's a shitty thing. You never DMCA claim a creator. How about
Semi-correct. If they are using your content without taking it and changing it into something else. Yes, that is copyright worthy. The reason why I left the name of the video, how many people he has, how many hours ago it was posted, how I found it, what platform it's on, the URL up at the top, is because that is all a way to give credit onto where I got my content from, where I got what I took from. I am at least attempting to accredit the creator for their creation. And saying, well, I changed it to be this. I added in 2.5 hours. Hell, I added in 3 hours of content on top of it. Talking about the half an hour that you made. So, my 3 hours would not be eligible, or would not be, you wouldn't be clearly understood if I didn't show yours. That, or would you rather it be taking stuff out of context of person B just saying random stuff that looks extremely bad, to make a point? I made the conscious decision, instead of doing this as a segmented, broken up, clipped up video, to shorten it, which could easily be taken taking stuff out of context and be misconstrued. I made the conscious decision to say, hey, I want to give person A the best chance to look good in the light that they set. But I am talking based upon what they said. Therefore, I am changing the context. And I am responding to what's being put out. Giving what I see as an outside person.
About this, Actman and the entire commentary community. You don't take people's videos because you don't like their takes and harass them over it.
Now, coming to the end of this, that's basically what I'm saying is, I don't like this take. But the thing is, I don't have a community where my 1% is 10,000 people. And 10,000 people is hard to control. It really is. And when you have 10,000 people that feel like something that they enjoy, something that they believe in, is being wronged. And this is where the grayest of gray lines come into as a content creator. How are you supposed to control your 1%? When your 1% is 10,000 people and they're doing things that you don't agree with. When your 10% is 1,000 people and is easily harassment. And yes, just like the question goes, ladies, does size matter? Yes, size matters a lot. And when your 1% is 10,000 people, you have to always be on eggshells. Because just like a game in which you have massive ice physics and you are sliding around, skidding around, and there's little to no control on what direction you're going, it can get very messy, very fast. Very scary, very fast. But due to the fact that my 100% is still a 0, I don't have to worry about a community. Now, if I gain a community, that would be lovely. That would be nice. I would love to have a community. But I don't. So I could say a lot of stuff with knowing that my control over a community is a mute point. But when someone like Asmongold, when someone like Review Tech, when someone like Camelot, when someone like Tectone, where their 1% is 1,000+ people, that is a lot of things that can go very wrong very fast in their communities. And I don't think the average person actually even thinks about that. Heck, when you're being when you feel like you're being attacked by another person or another person's community, I don't think you think about that. I don't think I would think about that, and I'm the one saying it right now.
You can leave a comment, you can maybe touch on it, but to do what you guys do and sit on a creator for multiple uploads on multiple videos and harass them upload after upload, there's a problem with your behavior, and I hope YouTube finds out about this category of YouTuber. Furtanga Plays, Oh No It's Alex, fucking Mischief, Griffin Gaming. The list of you cancerous, disgusting, parasitic drama channels goes on, and you truly make YouTube a dangerous place at this point.
Once again, he's attacking creators at this point. He didn't have to say this way. This did not have to be said in this way. I don't know who those people are. I don't know a single one of them. But this did not have to be said in this way. This could have been put in so many different ways that don't show how revolted you are about them, but at least still try to show them some type of dignity and be the bigger man in this situation. This is another reason why it's hard to support this guy.
Because I wouldn't be getting these hate comments talking about TVs, as I've never had hate comments about TVs. It's always when you gamers get involved and you start...
Now, I am a gaming channel. He's asking for people from outside to take a look at the situation, basically. This situation is being brought to light.
dogpiling and doing all this shit and making big issues up and doing what Actman is currently doing.
And us being gamers has nothing to do with it. Now, granted, gamers and theorists cross over a lot. Gamers do tend to be able to connect certain dots that are happening. But then again, gamers are also known for having nerd rage. It's just one of those things. We have our negatives and we have our positives. But once again, the first video was your TV channel and you badmouth gamers, saying they had no life. It's like, if you like this type of game, I don't know what I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. If you truly wanted this to blow over and not escalate to the point that it is, you still wouldn't be milking the situation. But then again, you milking the situation allows nobodies like myself milk it as well. Because that is the way that YouTube's work. That is the way that us content creators do things. We have to clickbait. We have to milk things. When there's drama, that's what people draw to. That's what people like. They hate people like me that overanalyze things. But then again, people like me like things like overanalyzing Avatar: The Last Airbender. That content creator was absolutely hilarious, pulling apart everything of Avatar: The Last Airbender. But because Avatar: The Last Airbender is owned by Nickelodeon, and most people know the show, he is able to take stuff out of context because it's something was made for kids. It was something that was made for a younger audience. And he's putting an adult twist to it. He's taking stuff out of context. He's using a disclaimer saying, hey, I'm purposely using this as a joke. Now, I have not watched the Actman's reaction content. I have not. I don't know if I ever will, to be honest. But I might not. It depends. If a nobody like me can pick up from one video, I might.
How he runs to other creators and says, get involved in this on Twitter. That's why this is as big as it is. It has nothing to do with transphobia or YouTube being conspiracy theorists or siding with hate. There is no hatred here. I'm a guy that wants to make his content. I would like everybody to go back to their own business and leave me the hell alone and stop threatening my family. That would be great. And again, watch this whole video, break it down all you want, but at the end of the day, I just want to be left alone, and it's not happening. No matter.
Now, I still have one question. What is your normal damn content? I only know from this whole thing that you're calling a conspiracy. I only know that. And like I said, YouTubers are known for milking a situation. For me, it seems like you're just doing commentary on your own situation at this point. That you're milking it. Like everyone else in the world's doing. Not in the world, because that's just over exaggerating it, but that's the point. There are some topics that you can over exaggerate. There's other topics that you do have to be on eggshells about. And when you insult an entire community, not once, not twice, but 3 times with 3 separate communities, it is hard to take your side.
No matter what I do. And this is because they've spurred on a mob. And I'm the only creator notice that has this happening to him. I'm the only.
Currently, you are not the only one that this is happening to. It's just, this is the one that is up at the forefront right now. This is the one in your community that you are aware of. The world is a big place. A very, very big place. It is easy to feel that your bubble is being attacked. And be the only bubble that you can see. I'm pretty sure if you went to any other genre that, like polka music, it's like, who's currently watching polka music? Who's watching bandpipe music? Scottish folk music with bandpipes. Who's watching that? There's a community out there watching it, and they love it. But then when the violinists are making fun of the bandpipe people, saying the music sucks, it's either they grow a thicker skin because they're used to it, or they whine and complain saying there's nothing wrong with my music. It's the violin's music that's the problem. And then when the third party is going like, well, the violin made that song first, and you're trying to take credit for it, you didn't have a right to tell the violinist that they were copying you. Because it was the other way around. Even though that has nothing to do with this situation. This is more or less person B taking person A's stuff, changing it to make something new, and then being called out, and then being told they were wrong for doing so.
The only one talking about this happening to him, because it's only happening to me because that's what they wanted, and they're going to keep doing it until you.
Within your bubble. Within your bubble. You're the only one that you're aware of that this is happening to. I'm pretty sure there's some Indian side of YouTube, some Portuguese side of YouTube, someone over in Singapore that this is happening to as well within their own community. And they don't know a damn thing about what's happening in the English communities. Just like we don't know what's happening over in their communities. Because we don't speak their language.
YouTube tells them no and takes them down and shows them being a bigger YouTuber doesn't grant you immunity to be able to harass smaller creators and sit on them with your weight.
Now, you're saying bigger YouTuber as in the amount of followers you have. Sometimes it is the smaller YouTuber that needs to be the bigger YouTuber. And try to talk about it civilly off of the platform. To take it into direct messages. To sit down and try to talk with the leader of the communities that you are feeling wronged by. Going, hey, your people are doing this to me. I want to have a civilized conversation. Yes, you made a video of my video, so I need to make a video of your video because that's the only way I'm able to communicate with you. If I didn't do that, and your community members didn't show you that I made a response to your video, you would never talk to me in the first place. Because that's how it is with me. If I tried to make a video and get permission first, I could never in a million years get that permission due to moderation. Because moderators prevent you from talking to the big guy. Moderators prevent you from talking to the head. So the only way to get to the head, and even then, it's not guaranteed that the head sees your video. But it's going to be their editor that uploaded their video that sees it, not them. And they're the ones making the call on DMCA strike or not.
There has to be somebody that's going to speak up about this in my favor and to the point of seeing that this is really unjust. Not that
I've said this already. It is hard to take your side. It feels like you are personally attacking multiple communities, taking a lot of things out of context, not putting in enough information to certain responses that make you look bad.
that I want them canceled or terminated. I want them to be told to back the fuck off and leave this person alone. Because until somebody comes out from YouTube and says what you are doing is so very much harassment and it needs to stop, it's not going to stop. They're going to keep being like, well, you know what, YouTube, I'll just go to Twitch. You can't stop me. It's that attitude that promotes this behavior over and over again. And I truly hope that this is resolved without any malice or anything happening. Because again, I never said anything about any of these creators until they started harassing me.
All right. Sometimes us creators, we do have to tell the big corporations to say, okay, Coca-Cola, you're not going to do shit about this. Well, I'm going to take my 1 million people over to Pepsi. When Coca-Cola now realizes they're losing 1 million people, they're going to go, oh shit, hit the panic button, because they don't want Pepsi getting their income instead. But in the same sense, larger communities, when their community size is 1 million people, 10,000 people is the 1%. 10,000 people can be construed as harassment. Even 100 people can be conceived as harassment.
Let that sink in. That being said, that's the information. Kind of take it or leave it. I really hope YouTube gets involved, but at the end of the day, I don't have that power. I don't have that say so. And anyone suggesting conspiracy at YouTube because they're getting themselves in trouble, again, it's nothing more than them getting themselves in trouble. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. Till the next video, see you guys later.
#1 brand in honesty. Really?
The Xbox and Bethesda.
Really? That is hard. That is hard to believe. I am sorry, that is hard to believe. #1 in honesty. Alright, well, this has gone on for a lot longer than I thought it would. So, hopefully somebody sees this. Hopefully, like, if this does reach any of the content creators in which I mentioned, they will step up, leave a comment, try to reach out. If I said anything out of line, I want to know that I said something out of line, and that way I can either correct myself to try to understand what I did wrong, if I did something wrong, or even just say, like, or even just let me know. It's like, dude, I understand what you're saying, and I see what you mean by what you said. Like, hell, if I did really, if this was really to blow over, it's like feeding the monster that is YouTube isn't going to let this blow over. So with that, we're gonna call this a video. This is a live stream, and that's just a little glimpse of my YouTube feeds. It's like stuff I read. Game theorist, player essence, science, the streaming guru himself, Josh Strife Hayes. It's like, I'm a gamer through and through, with the goal of making a community made for gamers. So with that, this is not my normal content. This is not what I normally do. I try to do more stuff like speed running, long plays, and reviews. Actual real reviews, not opinions. And I always it might not go civil, but I attempt to at least be civil. And hopefully I was able to be a outside voice that doesn't know shit about what's going on with this, and hopefully talked a little bit of sense into the parties at hand. But it is hard not to take sides. So if you do check out some of my other content, the stuff that I really do, I'll end it the way I always do with those. So hopefully there is a next time for you. And you guys keep it easy, you guys keep it real, and until next time, keep it all together.